the opportunity, what would be your area of focus?
Well, Dennis and I really are a partnership in every way. And I don't know, does anybody know a little bit about our love story? I'm going to go a bit sloppy, but anybody? I like to tell it wherever I can because it's so magical. But I came to America to work on monetary reform, to look at monetary policy. I'd worked in Africa, I lived in the bush for a year and a half, I worked in India for 6 months. I've done my degree in religious studies and theology because I wanted to learn the language of belief so that I could talk to other people's hearts, because I understand that if I can speak in terms that other people resonate with and understand the deep spirituality that they hold, then there might be a greater connection right from the beginning. And I did my master's degree in international conflict analysis. And my final exam for my master's degree was in conflict resolution in world politics with a specialism in terrorism. And my exam fell on September the 11th, 2001. And so all of those things that for me, all of my experiences, all the work that I did, led me to come to America. Because I understood, from having worked in Africa, wanting to help alleviate poverty, that I actually needed to come to the most powerful nation of the world, where some of these very destructive economic policies were coming from, in order to change it right back upstream, as opposed to changing the effects on the ground. So that's why I came to America. I also came because I saw after September the 11th, as I was glued to the television for a whole week, having completed my masters and not having that much to do afterwards, I watched the TV, and I watched the British analysis of it, so the BBC kind of take, where we got the people who'd studied reconciliation and peace, and the people who studied conflict, and all of those kind of more academic lines of thought. All of that was put out there, questionings of why did it happen, who, how, what is the interventionist policy maybe of the United States that would cause people to have bad feelings, and all of those kind of more academic questions were brought up within our media. And then I saw what happened in the rest of the world, where we had people, literally, we saw on our televisions, we saw people in Palestine running around saying, where can I send my blood, where can I send my blood, wanting to support the people here. We saw millions or 1 million people in Iran in prayer visual. We saw this in empathy and with great compassion for people here who had suffered. And we saw all around the world, in the most cynical of European nations, again, an outpouring of love and an outpouring of an openness of heart towards America in a way that I hadn't seen in many, many years, if at all. And at that point I realised that, as destructive as that moment was, there was an equal opportunity for creation, and an equal opportunity for reconciliation, an equal opportunity for growth. And so that also motivated me to come here, longing for an opportunity for my own role to work to reconcile America with the world and the world with America, because these policies of isolation, be it America from the world or the world from America, are unhealthy to the world and unhealthy to America. And these ideas that we have foreign policy as opposed to international relations policy are also terribly unhealthy. So I have a vision really to move those, try to move those realms. And that's why I came here. And it was my second week in America that I went to Washington. I was working with an organisation in upstate New York, and my first week was spent organising meetings with people I'd never heard of down there, and my second week was attending those meetings with my boss. And Dennis was a meeting on the 4th of May 2005. I knew he was a member of Congress because I was in his office, but beyond that I didn't know anything. I didn't know if he was a Democrat or a Republican. I had no idea on his stance towards the war or on environment or anything like that. And I thought, Elizabeth, you're here just to talk about monetary policy and probably just to listen. So just sit there and be quiet. Don't mention the war, don't mention the environment, have no, all of those different things that were going through my mind. Anyway, I met Dennis, and I just knew I'd met my husband. And the second time that we met happened to be a couple of weeks later, when we were both in New Mexico. Just happened to be in New Mexico on the same day, just for one day, and we were both in Albuquerque, and we met up and we decided to get married. And I still hadn't looked him up on the internet. I knew nothing more about him. I didn't know his positions on anything, and I just knew that he was my husband and he knew that I was his wife, and we moved through from there. So we truly are a partnership, having, as you might have guessed, generational difference between us, nationality difference. He was brought up a Roman Catholic, I was an Anglican, you know, everything was different. And yet, on all of the policy areas, on our spiritual outlook, on our global perceptions, on all of these different issues, we match and in every single way. And he's been a teacher to me, and I've been a teacher to him, because where I've lived in these places around the world, he's been in America working on issues which are the same but for America. And it's been so interesting to come together. And with respect to me being First Lady and what would I do, I would like to roll all of that visioning together. I don't see there as being any one area which is distinct from another. We have to understand now that all our systems are integrated, and we need leaders and people who are in those offices to understand that holistic thinking and that integrated thinking. And so I would want to support my husband as a partner and as a spouse, and as somebody who would also want to represent the interests of the people within the government structure, which is hopefully what I do at the moment. And more than that, if you want to go into how would I decorate the White House, I would paint it green.